And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from the Pop Culture Cosmos and Games. How is everybody doing out there? Appreciate you listening to today's program. We're available on each and every week from 10:30 p.m. Pacific 7:30, oh, excuse me, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. We're also available on, well, a bevy of downloadable channels and streaming options for you. So please, if you get a chance, check us out, especially, if you're iTunes, and my goodness, the world seems to be on iTunes to get all their podcasts. We're available on iTunes, so rate us and review us there if at all possible, like everybody else on their podcasts they want you to do as well. So but if you do for ours, we truly, truly appreciate it. Also, as well, we've got Google Play, we've got TuneIn, we've got podcast.com, we've got Mixcloud, we've got Stitcher, we've also got the ESO network, the Tangibout network, the Gonna Geek network as well. And of course, our newest network, the ACE Podcast Network and Overcast.fm. All those stations get each and every week 2 episodes of the Pop Culture Cosmos. Plus, we throw in on the back end a podcast from Humanica Media. Also, as well, could be a Game Source podcast, could be from Rob McCallum Films, could be a Galaxy Far, Far Away, could be the Wine Women of Words. Any number of a bevy of podcasts will be available to you right on the back end of each of our podcasts every time. Well, as much as we can, when you download the podcast, indeed. So that's a great value. You get 2 podcasts in one each and every time you listen to the Pop Culture Cosmos or the PCC Multiverse that appears 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network as well. So here once again with my good friend, my co-host, in crime, right here. He's the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanica Media, and a man who has yet to see Wonder Woman. Shame on you. It's Josh Peterson. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna go see Wonder Woman tomorrow. It's tough, man. Like getting people to. Everyone I know went to go see it on opening night, and I missed it. So when you're in those kind of situations, I just gotta go see it by myself, and then we can talk about it then.
Oh, too bad. I was one of the people that saw it on Thursday. Sorry, we're gonna talk about it tonight. And in fact,
all right, if you spoil it, I will just sign off.
Of the the movie Wonder Woman itself, you can catch that review right on our site, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. A lot of great things that are in there that tells exactly what I liked, what maybe I didn't like, performance-wise, what stands out, and I'll give some of that little bits and pieces here today. I'll try to evade a lot of spoilers, but there may be some little spoilerish things that we're going to discuss. So Josh and everybody out there listening, I do apologize. But the big news is that film history has been made, box office actually history has been made, because Wonder Woman has, well, for all intents and purposes, hit $100 million domestically on the box office this past weekend, which is a first, not only for, as far as Wonder Woman is concerned, but also for Patty Jenkins, the first female director to direct a film that's garnered so much in a first weekend for domestic film. So I ask you first off, right off the bat, and it's also done very well internationally, what does this do first for what does this do for female directors as far as broadening their horizons and allowing them to even get cast and get appointed even bigger movies with even a larger scope?
Okay, I might be unpopular for saying this, but I think that it's good.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here comes the controversy. I think that it does 2 things. One, it shows studios that, it shows studios and people in general, audiences, I guess, that female directors are very capable of doing all people, that the stigma against is as the people tend to argue, because like a plethora of things where people, oh, Warner Brothers wants this movie to fail, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why would they spend, you know, over $100 million on a film and a director if they wanted the movie to fail? So I think it also shows, you know, studios and people that women are perfectly capable.
Still there?
Yeah, did you hear anything I just said?
No, but now I heard everything you just said. Try that again. Wouldn't you know, this is just adding on to the fun.
Okay, so do you want me to say it again, or?
Yeah, I'll start you off again. Okay, Josh, it's been a great weekend so far for Wonder Woman, garnering over $100 million at the box office this weekend. A first for female directors, and obviously a feather in the cap for Patty Jenkins. Your thoughts on exactly what this will do for female directors as a whole, and in getting more spots for larger projects and scope in Hollywood?
Okay, I might be unpopular for having this opinion, but I think that it shows two things. One, it shows us that, or it shows studios and fans that female directors are perfectly capable of handling big budget films and doing great things with them and succeeding. But it also proves that the whole stigma that people think that studios and big corporations and just people in general have against having female directors is completely overblown. I think that, you know, before Wonder Woman came out, I was seeing all this stuff on social media about people saying, oh, hey, you know, they're trying to get people riled up by saying, hey, Warner Brothers wants this movie to fail, and, you know, they want since she's a female director, they want her to fail. It's a female-led movie, which doesn't make sense because they wouldn't be dumping, you know, over $100 million into a film like this to, you know, just because they want it to fail. So I think that there's this idea that women are more than capable of people, but I truly proved that. And it also proved that there's, you know, the stigma is not as bad as we tend to think it is.
Well, those are some good points indeed, but I want to ask you even further. Now that it looks like there's now something really positive for the DC extended universe to actually hang on to, because there's been universal praise of the film. The film has actually garnered over 90% positive reviews on, according to Rotten Tomatoes. Our site, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, I did a review for it. I gave it some very positive feelings as well. I just think that the movie itself is definitely a step in the right direction for the DC extended universe. What do you think a positive jolt does for the actual DC universe as a whole? Because I'll tell you what, you know, with three films, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and also as well Suicide Squad, garnering a combined $2 billion, it seemed like there was a lot of dismay and a lot of bad word and bad word of mouth and angst over the actual you know, DC universe itself over those three films, which really put a lot of pressure on this film to succeed.
I think we need to define failure first. So we need to look at, everyone says Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, etc. were bad movies, but I didn't like them personally, and they weren't well received by critics, but they still made a whole lot of money. So I wouldn't consider them to be as much of a failure as you know, studios and the media and film critics would have you believe. But Wonder Woman, I think it did leave a bad taste in the fans' mouths. I think that's the important thing that we need to take away, is that you know, they hit some rocky patches, but Wonder Woman, I'm hearing talk from people who haven't even seen any of the other DC movies saying that, like, this was a great film. So I think that Wonder Woman is kind of a palate cleanser, if you will, from the last movies. Though Man of Steel, let me ask you this: did you like Man of Steel? Because I thought it was a really good movie. I loved it personally.
My personal feelings on Man of Steel, I thought it was about an 30 minutes to 45 minutes too long. I thought if it was reduced a little bit overall, I think the film would have sufficed a lot better, and I think it would have made for a lot better narrative. I think it had issues with the connection between Zod and Jor-El himself. Just as far as the all the other added stuff as well between Clark Kent and obviously Lois Lane, and it just didn't seem to have the same kind of special vibe and connection that obviously previous iterations of the Superman series has done, and I think done a little bit better, especially obviously the Christopher Reeve version. But I think also as well that it just took too long to actually tell this entire narrative, and had it been cut down 30 or 45 minutes shorter, maybe would have made for a much better film, in my impression. That's the least. So continue what you were saying.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess I would rank them like I haven't seen.
Or you could always tell me what you told me with King Arthur.
That you're wrong. I don't know if I necessarily disagree with you on this one. I loved Man of Steel. Like, I thought that it was a great movie, and it was a Superman film that we've never seen before, which was exciting. I hated Superman Returns. I don't know. I just did not like that movie at all. It was super boring to me. But yeah, I think that Man of Steel was good, and I thought that was going to be the president. But with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, there were points in the movie where I kept looking at my watch or wondering when the movie was going to end. So I'm hoping, from what I understand, Wonder Woman doesn't do that, and it's interesting all the way through. So we'll just have to, I'm going to see it tomorrow, so I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, I think that Wonder Woman shows that the DC universe does have legs, and it's, there is hope for it, assuming that they get their film schedule organized, because it's a complete mess right now. But we'll see if Justice League can carry on what Wonder Woman did, or if Wonder Woman kind of is the pinnacle and then it's all just back downhill from here.
That question I want to ask you beyond that is, do you think it's wise now for DC and Warner Brothers to actually start centering its universe around her instead of centering around traditional superheroes that they have in the past, like Superman or Batman? Because that really hasn't seemed to gotten them anywhere so far. Mind you, there's still another standalone Batman movie with Ben Affleck coming up in this not too distant future, and then obviously something again most likely with Superman as well, because he looks like he's going to be coming back from the dead, quote unquote, so to speak. And then you have Aquaman. Cyborg now is officially, at this point in time, still back on a 2020 timeframe as well. But do you think it'd be wiser to actually center the universe around her instead of one of them?
No, I don't think so. Because I think right now DC has not made the films for like the fanboys, like what we see. It's not like a gender thing or anything. It's just the fact that Wonder Woman's good, and I think if they develop her a little bit more, because people don't really know a whole lot about her. She's, they know she's part of the Justice League, but they know she's Amazonian, but they don't know a lot of, like, if I went up to someone who said, "Oh yeah, Wonder Woman is good," and I said, "Oh, well, can you name me one or two of her villains?" They wouldn't be able to tell me anything. So I think that we just need to see. They need to focus on their properties, and to focus on Batman, Superman, get the Flash out there, develop their core team. But because really, if developing a story around Wonder Woman, there's not a lot of meat there to gnaw on, so to speak. So it would be an interesting move to see if they did it, but I feel like that would be putting too much pressure on Patty Jenkins as a director. I think that'd be putting too much pressure on her shoulders to develop a sequel and keep getting bigger and bigger, and then we would have to worry more about studio involvement, which is what plagues Suicide Squad. So it's an interesting dynamic, but I don't think that it would work.
Now, she has already indicated that if she were asked to do a sequel, then it would probably be leaning towards present day, because obviously there are things that indicate, well, for instance, the fact that she was in Batman v Superman, and then also she's up in Justice League, that it is now moved forward to present day. So if she were to do a sequel, which at this point could be greenlit very, very soon, then it definitely looks like it'll be happening in the modern universe. So it fits somewhere in the timeline as well. But like I said, yeah, like you said, I agree with you. The list of villains that are well known in the Wonder Woman universe are few and far between, as opposed to obviously what Batman and even Superman to some extent have created in their universe. So it would be a little bit harder to create a well-known, adaptable villain that people could identify with, unless it came from maybe another universe. But we'll have to wait and see. Just overall, your thoughts on the actual success of Wonder Woman. Is it something that you thought was going to happen? Is it going to be a surprise? Or do you actually think that it's going to be something that definitely is going to be taking place again and again in the future for DC films?
I didn't so much look at it as something that I wanted to happen as much as something that needed to happen. And I hope that it does take place again and again as we keep going. I hope Justice League is just as good. The Flash, Batman, obviously. Batman needs to be good, especially after the standard that Chris Nolan set. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like hopefully it does. I hope Wonder Woman's not the pinnacle and it keeps going downhill from there. But yeah, we just have to kind of wait and see what happens. Hopefully the rest are good. I hope that they continue to develop the characters, but we'll have to see. There's a lot of they need to go reach beyond their talent pool, though. They need to stop like having Zack Snyder do everything. Like he's, it's debatable whether or not his stuff is really like award winning or anything. But yeah, they just need to keep seeking out talent like Patty Jenkins and go from there.
Well, obviously having Joss Whedon now, he's taking over the final touches, as we mentioned on a previous podcast, of the Justice League. So maybe even a deeper involvement from Joss Whedon, seeing how he's responsible a great deal for the success of the Marvel Universe when it comes to the Avengers and whatnot. So definitely maybe that can lead to better things for the DC Extended Universe, to piggyback off the success of Wonder Woman this past weekend. And that's definitely some great news indeed for movie fans. And now that they have some hope for some great things down the road for the DC Extended Universe, we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out in November with Justice League and going forward as well. What are your thoughts on Wonder Woman? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Explain to us why. Did you think Gal Gadot, like I indicated, I really think, as I mentioned in the previous podcast, she does have that it factor. I think she's really going to be a star in the making here if she's not already, and definitely has a lot of great potential for a long time to do things as far as the movie industry very few have done. Let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. Well, it's going to be another great episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos show. Again, we just truly appreciate you listening out there. We've got a lot of things lined up, including some great stuff that we're going to be playing from Humanica Media. And it's going to be another great show. And speaking of Humanica Media, Josh, tell us what's going on with the great things that's going on with your channel known as Humanica Media.
There's a few podcasts coming out. I can't give you any dates yet because I don't know. I've gotten kind of backed up with a few other projects I've been working on, including a trailer for my book that's coming out. But yeah, if you guys just keep following the page, pay attention to what's going up, things will pop up there and you'll be able to see them. We are recording a new Topicocalypse this week, as well as a new Super Bro station. And then Saturday we'll record a new What About This? So there's definitely stuff coming up, but I don't know any like exact dates right now.
And you recently did some promos as well, isn't that correct? For something coming up in your near future?
Yeah, we did a promo today for a book that I'm working on coming out here in the summer. You'll be able to see it soon. It's called Congratulations, You Suck. And we've been talking about it forever, and it's finally coming out. I feel like George R. R. Martin. I keep promising you things. It looks like I was going to be 80 years old and dying before I finally released it. So good news. It's finally coming out. Winter's coming, but it'll be out before winter. So there's that.
Fair enough indeed. And if you want all the latest updates on what's going on with Humanica Media, just check them out. Humanica Media on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, their great YouTube channel as well. They've got a lot of great also game from Prey and also a lot of other Final Fantasy. Check that out. They've got a lot of great videos there to check out as well. Humanica Media on YouTube. And again, you want to contact them or find out what's going on in the latest in the world of Humanica Media on Facebook and Twitter as well. So like I said, we got a great show for you for today right here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. But first, we've got a great song coming up from Elijah Harrison, better known as Plasma Z. And this is Mango. And this is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you listening out there. Once again, check out our shows every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Podcast Radio Network. Also as well, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, it's the PCC Multiverse. And if you can't check out our shows on the Podcast Radio Network because maybe time, family, what have you, we understand. Our shows are always available for download each and every week on all of our great downloading and streaming options, including iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast.com, Google Play, Mixcloud, the ESO Network, the Tangible Network, and the Gunna Geek Network as well. And then also Ace Podcast Network and Overcast.fm. We're now up to 11 strong as far as affiliates are concerned, and we truly appreciate each and every one of them that's allowing us to play some great Pop Culture Cosmos stuff for you each and every week indeed. So Josh, I know you heard the news recently that Nintendo, one of our favorite topics each and every time that we go to it, they've done it again. Their vaunted online service for the Switch will be coming out. Not as quite as early as they had planned. It's coming out in 2018, and it's coming out at a fair price, $20 for a year, which is actually pretty good pricing. And you'll be able to get some free games, which is kind of cool as compared to PS4 and also as well, actually PlayStation Plus and also as well Xbox One, which try to also give you free games as well each and every month for being a part of their service, even though their service is a little bit more costly. But I want to ask you, is the $20 service that they're proposing with NES game downloads being part of the package? That's right, the Nintendo Entertainment System, not Super NES, not Wii, not GameCube, not Wii U, just for right now, NES with added features, quote unquote, that they said they were going to put in. Is that going to be enough to satisfy the general consumer? Because we know the Nintendo hardcores, they appreciate anything they can get from Nintendo they see as a fair value, which is great. And I appreciate the fact that they love to support their product. But do you see for the general consumer that this is going to be enough to get them enticed into getting one of those red hot Nintendo Switches?
No, absolutely not. I think at E3, Nintendo is going to be handing out little bottled water that's going to be filled with the tears of their fans. And because let me ask you this. Okay, so would you rather pay $20 a month for, quote unquote, NES games for your Nintendo Switch, whatever they end up being, whatever that service ends up being, when you can just go out and buy like one of those, one of those secondhand systems or whatever that they sell like around the holiday times that has like the built-in hard drive, and which is $20 and comes with
I
like.
just recently interviewed Hyperkin, which actually has something coming out that does that for you.
Yeah, so I mean, why am I going to pay $20 a month when I can pay like a $40 base fee and just get hundreds of Nintendo games on a hard drive? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it just, to me, it does not look like a comparative value at all, even though, Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus are more than twice the value for a year as far as paying for it, twice the cost. But the tremendous value that you get seems to be much more inherent with Xbox One and the PlayStation Plus, where you can get current modern games. Like, for instance, on PlayStation Plus this month, you're going to be able to get games like Killing Floor 2 and Life is Strange, which, especially in the case of Life is Strange, that's a game I want to play. That's a game that's been very highly rated, which I've always been on my radar, and I have never gotten the chance to play. But now I'm going to see if I can go ahead and download it because it's free on PlayStation Plus. So those are really good games that are coming out. And Xbox One, they, from each month, they go ahead and provide games, some of which are really, really quality games, which are current, which are modern, which are, for the most part, are available to this system that were made for the current systems that are on. Sometimes you'll get some PS3 classics or some Xbox backward compatible classics that you can also play, which are, okay, they're one generation behind. But when it comes to Nintendo Switch, and all the best that they can offer you is stuff from the 1980s and 1990s, it seems very, I don't know, it just seems very, I guess the word I'm trying to say, it's just not even close to becoming a bargain. It just seems like a bad value overall. So I ask you, Josh, as someone who does have a Nintendo Switch, what do you think Nintendo should do about an online service? Yes, it does provide online multiplayer for games that are out there when the service comes live, which obviously is needed if you want to go ahead and do Mario Kart, Splatoon 2, what have you. So it's going to become a necessity if you want to play games like that. But what are you looking for as far as with the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo online service that will make you join and buy it?
To be honest, at this point, I probably won't buy the online Nintendo service just because, okay, look at it. I love Xbox because everything is so simple. It's user friendly. I can just plug in my headset, invite my buddies to a party. I can sit there and I can play with them and talk with them. But with Nintendo Switch, the headset is plugged into your phone. So not only are you, do you have to worry about the game? Your headset's not connected to your game. You're basically talking on the phone to people, and I think that's stupid. Nintendo does not do a good job of giving the fans simplicity or what they want. And as far as like the online play goes, like why am I gonna sit there and play Splatoon or Mario Kart online when I can just jump over to another console and play like Halo or I don't play Call of Duty, but I can see where the argument can be made for Call of Duty. So what is the point? Like, what Nintendo doesn't, at this point, they don't have anything to offer me that would make me even want to think about playing those other things. Like, I'm still sitting here waiting for a game to come out that I haven't played on other consoles already, and that I can sit there and have fun with,
Are you regretting your decision of Nintendo Switch at this time?
No, I love playing Zelda, but like I'm getting to the point where like it's sitting right here and it's like collecting dust. I haven't touched it since I finished Zelda, so I'm hoping with E3, I know Mario's coming out and there's some stuff I want to play there, but I want them to release a game. If not, like I don't know what I'm gonna do with this console. I feel like I wasted my money.
Well, I definitely agree with you on the fact that Nintendo really does not have a true concept of providing a value for the money. But unfortunately, it has such a fervent, hardcore base that quite often they don't need to understand what a good value is in regards to providing something that should be equate to whatever it is that people are spending on it. Because as we've seen, especially in recent months, Nintendo fans, hardcore fans, are willing to spend over and above and beyond the maybe suggested quality amount of pricing for a system, for a game, for a controller. Because for a system, for a game and a controller. Because look, right now it costs what, $450 for all three of those things I mentioned right now. Right now on an Xbox One and PlayStation 4, you can get that for $100 less, and then some. And it just it just doesn't. If you look at it black and white, if you look at it on paper, it doesn't make any sense. But then again, in reality, look, Nintendo fans are eating this up at this point in time, and more power to them if they are. If they wanted to do it, that's fine. But as long as they keep doing so in great numbers, Nintendo's going to keep providing services, basic services that are lacking, that are somewhat behind the times, that are still rudimentary and outdated, and also costly and not exactly price friendly or effective. And that's basically what you're asking for is what you're getting. I know there's still a lot of Nintendo fans out there. I see them every day. I communicate with them every day, and I like I said, I appreciate what they do. I've had Nintendo systems in the past, and I do like the quality of stuff that they have. And obviously, when they can bring out a Zelda that looks like it's going to, or at this point, be the game of the year, and obviously followed up with a Mario Kart 8, which is, obviously an updated version, but still obviously very good value indeed for that game. But there's also Splatoon 2 and ARMS, which look like they're pretty solid choices as well. But after that, I can see what your point gets into is like there's really not much to the system after that. And so Nintendo has to keep on developing it. But they also have to start getting the mentality that if they want to provide general consumers out there the opportunity to have a good value, they need to offer it at a decent and fair price, and or at least console standards as far as online connectivity, online performance, online values, and things comparative to the actual competitors that they're trying to deal with on a daily basis. Otherwise, at some point in time, the general consumer is going to push back and push back hard. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now Nintendo has the on their side, they have the idea that people like to have what what other people want. So it's like this demand for the Switch is really high, and people want it based strictly on the fact that it's really hard to find. But the same thing happened with the Nintendo Wii, if you remember. And then as soon as the market got oversaturated, people were selling them back to video game stores just as quickly as they can. I know, like there's some stores where you can sell games down here, and they're just they can't hardly get rid of them. So that's interesting in that aspect. But I think eventually, we could hope that fans are going to wake up and see, like, if they don't start offering us things, why are we going to keep purchasing Nintendo products? Like Xbox at launch, they didn't have the best titles, but they had titles. They had stuff that you could keep playing, and they weren't rehashed games from other consoles, with the exception of Assassin's Creed.
And with PlayStation 4 possibly getting even cheaper here in the next few days, and Xbox One may soon follow after that with their base models, it's getting harder and harder to see people switching to the Switch unless they get a better concept of exactly value for what you're paying for. Because I really don't think even though it's a $20 online service per year, providing NES games to a lot of fans, once the novelty wears off, is probably not going to do it. They'll want Wii U games. They'll want like Bayonetta 2. They'll want Pikmin. They'll want modern games on their service added free each and every month, just like you can get from PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. What are your thoughts on the new Nintendo online service? Let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Humanican Media, Game Source, and Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we're back here to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part and listening in on the #1 show for the past 3 months right here on the Podcast Radio Network. And we tell you what, we truly appreciate our time, and also we truly appreciate your time in listening to our show. And it's just fantastic that you're here each and every week listening to us. My name is Gerald Glassford, and I'm here along with my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanity Media. It's Josh Peterson. And before we touch on our final subject for the evening, because it's been a great show already, let us know what's going on, Josh, with all the great things that are coming up this week on Humanity Media.
Yeah, man. I don't have a lot of dates set for anything right now. We are going to be recording a new Super BS, a new Topicocalypse. There will be a new What About This coming soon here. Other than that, I got a lot of projects going, and so I'm kind of falling behind, so I can't guarantee any dates. But if you guys keep paying attention to the pages, Facebook, I'll make an announcement eventually, and you will be able to see. I'm sorry, I can't promise things for sure, but there will be content coming out this week, so that is a guarantee. But I just don't know exact days yet.
And we'll actually both be in Los Angeles next week for E3. That's right. Josh and I are going to be invading E3. Your thoughts going into that, because it's going to be, to us, obviously it's going to be a great week. But Josh, I want to hear your thoughts on going to your first E3.
I'm excited about it. I'm hearing some weird things from other media sources saying that because it's open to the public, it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit more crowded. So I don't know what to expect. I don't have anything to compare it to, but it is kind of cool because I kind of grew up watching these on TV back when G4 was a thing, and then on the computer through my teens and all that. So it's going to be exciting to actually be there and on the ground floor, see all.
Josh, you still there? You still there?
Yeah, did you get any of that?
A little bit, but your thoughts again on being part of E3 for the first time for you. So that ought to be a great thrill for you indeed, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I kind of grew up watching it on TV back when G4 was a thing, seeing it on a computer after G4 went away. I've been following it a lot, so I'm excited. I just hope that it's I hope with the whole thing with being open to the public doesn't ruin whatever experience there is for press. But we'll have to see, man. I don't have anything to compare it to, so definitely excited though.
We'll be getting some behind-the-scenes look at some games, also as well. A lot of indie games we're going to be taking a look at, indeed. Plus, a lot of the big wigs will be there, so hopefully we get a chance to talk to a few of them. If you want to check out what we're going to be, doing with those interviews and whatnot, you can also check it out next week, hopefully on our PCC Multiverse show, 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network, and of course all of our available podcast channels that we mentioned earlier. But also, it will be recorded on Facebook Live on our good friends and also one of our sponsors, Retro City Games. So take a look out for that as well. We'll be there Tuesday. That's right, on Tuesday coming up. That will be, that will be June the 13th. June the 13th, we'll be there in spades at E3. Josh and I will be invading it like no one has ever done before. At least that's what I'm hoping, anyways. Indeed. So I want to close out the show with some thoughts on a game series that's going to be coming back again, whether we as gamers like it or not, because EA recently made the official announcement that, again, like the Fast and Furious series, again, like the Top Gun series, I'm sorry, we got the need for speed, because Need for Speed Payback is coming this November to consoles, PC, the whole 9 yards. So I ask you, Josh, in a nutshell, I mean, this is several iterations into the Need for Speed series. It really hasn't moved the needle either which way. It's obviously sold enough to warrant several iterations already, but in gamers' eyes, it's never really been a series that I think people could just either are dying to see it or really care if it's still there or not. So I ask you, with the Forza series now being the premier racing league as far as gaming is concerned, iRacing for PC gaming for the high end market, and then also as well a new Gran Turismo coming out from PlayStation. Is there really still a need? Is there really still a need for speed?
Hey, bless their heart for trying, man. It's been a while since we've seen a Need for Speed. Well, I haven't personally seen the trailers for this one. I just read about it a few minutes ago. Yeah, I mean, it's not like anyone's gonna be able to take the racing crown away from Forza, but if Need for Speed, if EA wants to try Need for Speed, they've had some fun games in the past. I don't see this being, even like a nick in the heel of the Forza empire or Gran Turismo for that matter, but hey, if they want to try, I'm sure it'll sell. I'm sure because people like those games. But it's an interesting game market these days. So we'll see if anyone picks it up because we all thought that all the new Tom Clancy games were going to do well, and they didn't really sell as well as people had hoped they would. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think people are getting franchise fatigue, and they're kind of burnt out on some of these old properties. And as far as Need for Speed's concerned, we'll see if they can recapture some of that glory. And if not, then that's a lesson learned for EA, I guess. And that's a franchise we probably won't see for a while.
Well, I think you touched on a lot of great points there. I know that the game itself is going to be delving into, obviously, and touching into the Fast and the Furious series, because it looks like it's going to have a format similar to some of those street racing type scenes and scenarios that we were become familiar with in the Fast and Furious series. So I know they're going to be grabbing loosely from that, so to speak, obviously without grabbing Vin Diesel and The Rock over, because that would be costing too much. But it's going to be looking like it's going to be something in that realm, and obviously something they learned from the success of the Forza series, from either the Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon series. I think they're going to take elements from that as well. But like you, I don't know. I think that at some point in time, if fans are really going to be against it, there is going to be some franchise fatigue. Obviously, we did see that with Ubisoft and Tom Clancy games after they initially sold well on each account, with Ghost Recon Wildlands, also as well Rainbow Six Siege and The Division. They sold well initially, but could not keep the numbers up over time. So we'll definitely have to take a look and see. But I'm not sure the fans are really going to be really much into a Need for Speed come November when it hits the streets, because that's right smack in the dab in the middle. It's right smack dab in the middle of the largest volume time for games. So maybe putting it there is a good idea so it gets some type of volume, but compared to the Call of Duty, compared to Star Wars Battlefront 2 that are both expected, that are Call of Duty WW2 also as well, like I said, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and a lot of other great things that are coming out in November. The latest Shadow Mordor, Middle Earth, War for Middle Earth, I think it is, that is coming out. That's been delayed to October, so that even puts more pressure on for a lot of quality games right there. So, people like you and I are not going to have that much money left over for fringe titles such as Need for Speed, and especially if Gran Turismo may come out at that point in time, maybe another Forza, who knows? It's just a wait and see right now, but definitely some choices going to be out there on the racing horizon. But will it be enough for you? Actually, let me ask you this. Everybody out there, will you have the need? Will you have the Need for Speed with a new EA version of Need for Speed? Let us know your thoughts, your game source, Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com, also as well Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Humanica Media on Facebook and Twitter as well. Well, it's been another great episode indeed of the Pop Culture Cosmos Show. We truly appreciate you being part of the program. Again, if you have any questions, let us know. We'd be glad to read your questions on the air or send them back in person, because we're just so thrilled to have such a great listening base already, and we just hope to grow it even further in the coming weeks. Josh, any last thoughts on the way out?
No, I think we covered everything, but yeah, pay attention to our E3 adventures. We'll be updating you guys as soon as we can, and you'll have some live stuff coming at you from the ground floor. So yeah, thanks for tagging along.
Definitely. And you're actually going to go see Wonder Woman, is that correct?
I am going to see Wonder Woman tomorrow.
All right,
correct.
You better, man. You better, because I'll spoilers aside, it is a very good film, and people should go out of the way to see it, because it's definitely a step in the right direction for DC and Warner Brothers, indeed. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford, and it's another beautiful day in paradise here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening, and here's hoping you have yourself a great